The history behind Whitman Mission is extremely important because it is the first onslaught, the first coming of an American white family from the eastern U.S. What happened here with the animosity and the disintegration of the relationship between the missionary community and the Cayuse tribe, and that led to the killing, which led to the American militia chasing the Cayuse peoples, and that formulated the Cayuse Wars. The important features of this park is that, and we're working on it, but we're trying to implement the native plant communities that would have been here originally when Marcus Whitman was here. What you'll see today is a beautiful manicured park, but the grass species and these tree species don't really reflect the historical context that Marcus Whitman encountered. And that's not to say that it was uglier back then or anything. It was just to say it was different. And these are very extremely rich soils that I try to convey to the public. They support 40 or more crops. Before even colonial crops came, they supported a plethora of forbs and grasslands that supported thousands of horses, and supported thousands of people. So this is a very, very rich environment that the Cayuse and Nez Perce and Walla Wallas inhabited, and that's why they inhabited it. We have a set of rangers, and we provide programs for numerous classrooms all the way from the Tri-Cities, Washington, down to Pendleton, and of course Waitsburg, Walla Walla, and many surrounding communities. This year is the 100th centennial. This is the centennial of the National Park Service. All the parks in the country, including Whitman Mission National Historic Site. I'm talking Grand Canyon, Zion Park, Glacier, Gettysburg, Fort Sumter. We're all having just a boom of activities to highlight our parks. We're going to have artisans from the Umatilla Confederated Tribes come up and show how to handcraft these model Thule ducks. They're also going to show lithic tool use and how to make it. But we're even having a birthday cake because the anniversary of the Whitman Mission is coming up pretty soon too. But yeah, no, this is a very special year for the Park Service, including the Whitman Mission National Historic Site. What I grew up seeing when I was in high school was usually the tribal citizens. So there's not too many descendants of Whitman to interview right now. If there is, I don't know who they are and if they're traumatized. I can tell you that the descendants of the Cayuse have been traumatized for 150 years. And so they never felt welcome here at the Whitman Mission until now, where we're embracing them, we're exchanging employees, we're doing cross-communication programs, and we're incorporating their thoughts into our new vision statement, and including them in our park programs. So it's a new day for Whitman Mission, where I'm not saying we're getting rid of the old story that was focused on Marcus Whitman and his missionary efforts. I'm saying we're adding the layer and enhancing that story. And it's going to be more complex, but it's going to be more interesting, more fascinating. We're going to get publics that hadn't traditionally came here in the past. I can guarantee that. There's some opposition to it, but I think overall that they're going to say, hey, I have never set up a teepee before. Mr. Ammerman showed me how to do that. He showed me how to enter the teepee with proper etiquette so I don't get in trouble if I go to the Pendleton Roundup or Cheyenne Frontier Days, because he taught me how to do it politely. And that's not something they would learn in the regular classroom setting, right? So it's an opportunity for, a lot of the older generations embrace stereotypes, which I don't know if that's served them well. I said, I don't have a very good chance with you grandparents, but your kids and grandkids, yeah. They're gonna know the authentic history and not have to start at ground zero learning myths and unauthentic stuff that is not going to serve them well as they grow up. And it'll be interesting to them, and I'll make it interesting. That's my job as a interpreter and park ranger here. I would hope that our youth that come here and all people really recognize that this is a sacred site. I think to all Americans, it is to the Cayuse in the sense that this is a cemetery. You know, for me, not too much different than Arlington Cemetery. And for our Americans to say, hey, come here with respect. It's not a playground. Please note that we have a mass grave of famous Americans, but also thousands of Cayuse Indians died up and through this valley and died here too. And I make the school kids be real respectful, especially near the mass grave off to the east here. I mean, the other parts aren't quite as a big deal, but you know, showing respect here, that something happened here. I'd also like them to know, as I discussed earlier, that this incident plus the Treaty of 1855 all happened here. This is an important part of Washington history and our location for Washington history, and it's the reason why you live in Tri-Cities, or you live in Yakima, Washington, you live in Omak, Wenatchee, Colville. All those areas is because of what happened here. So if you want to take something home, that's what you take home.